Kane's 2 backstabbings, Victor's plan hits a snag. The Young and the Restless spoilers update for Tuesday, February 10th, reveals that Kane Ashby will face 2 backstabbings while Victor Newman's plan hits an unanticipated hitch. Victor will start off feeling good about the situation since he successfully backed Kane into a corner. With Kane willing to stand down and transfer Newman power back to Victor, it'll feel like a major palm for the Newmans. Still, it's no way a good idea to celebrate until it's truly a done deal. Phyllis Summers and Billy Abbott will band together as surprising abettors, so they'll join forces on a plot to betray Kane. Kane is willing to give Newman Enterprises back if Victor proves his family has been released. Victor might demand Newman first and also promise Lily Winters will walk free along with the halves. Whatever the case, Y&R spoilers say Victor's thing of getting his company back may not be so simple. Phyllis will stir up some trouble with Billy's help, so she may find a way to block Kane from making this sale be. Phyllis is a woman of numerous bents, so she might cut Kane out of the picture entirely ever. Maybe Phyllis and Billy will be in charge by the end of all this, which could leave both Kane and Victor fuming. No matter how it all goes down, Victor may have to advertise some bad news to his family rather of the huge palm he was hoping for. Across city, Sharon Newman will feel terrible about not stepping up for Mariah Copeland when it really counted. Mariah called Sharon in gashes and hoped her mama would come see her at the clinic in Boston, but Sharon just didn't feel like she could leave Noah Newman after his accident. Now Sharon's going to deal with further regrets since she missed her window to stop Mariah's internal break. Sharon might have seen the warning signs if she'd been there for Mariah and paid further attention to what she was over against. Of course, Sharon did the stylish she could under delicate circumstances. Noah demanded Sharon in that moment too, so no bone can condemn her for choosing to stay by her son's side when he was in a coma. Nonetheless, the Young and the Restless spoilers say Sharon will feel like this is her fault as she hopes for some positive Dominic Winters updates. The silence in Victor Newman's office was really thick. It felt like it was weighing him down. Outside, Victor Newman could see Genoa City. He was not looking at the view. Victor Newman's jaw was. His hands were locked behind his back. He was standing by the window thinking about what Kane Ashby had told him the time they met. Victor Newman thought that Kane Ashby had given in even if it was, for a second. Kane was in a tough spot. He had no way out and everyone could see what was going on. He wanted to keep Lily Winters and the twins safe, so he did the thing he could think of. Kane had finally said okay to giving up his position and handing Newman Enterprises over to the person who should really own it, which is the rightful owner of Newman Enterprises. That is what it seemed like at the time. It looked that way to me. Victor had been around for a time and he had hurt a lot of people. So when things seemed to be going well, he knew that something bad was probably going to happen somewhere else. For the first time in a long time, Victor felt a little happy. He was close to getting Newman Enterprises. This was the company that meant everything to him. It was his legacy, his power, and it had his name on it. Kane had tried to take it from him, but Victor had outsmarted him and won. Newman Enterprises was what Victor wanted. Now it was within his grasp. Victor had beaten Kane. He felt good about it. So the man thought to himself at that moment. Across town in a rough place, Phyllis Summers leaned forward at the bar of society. Her eyes were sharp. She looked like she was thinking really hard. She was not there to have a time or meet new people. This was about making a plan. It was about waiting for the moment. It was about getting at someone. Phyllis Summers was about getting revenge. She wanted revenge. She was going to get it. Billy Abbott sat down in the seat next to her. He started to loosen his tie. He looked like a man who was going to do something crazy. He just did not care about what would happen. Billy Abbott seemed to know that he was getting ready to do something. Billy looked at her. Said, "So I do not understand why I have to help Victor Newman. The man is not very nice. Helping Victor Newman does not feel right to me. It makes me feel dirty, like I need to take a shower for a week. I just do not like Victor Newman, that's all." Phyllis gave a smile, picking up her glass, but she did not take a drink. "Oh, we are not going to help Victor," she said in a voice. "We are going to help Phyllis and the people. With her we are going to help ourselves." Billy looked at her. He was really interested even though he did not want to be. He said, "You are talking about Kane." Phyllis said this about everyone. Kane believes he is giving something up to get what he wants. Victor thinks he has already gotten what he wants. Neither Kane nor Victor sees the things that are really important and right in front of them. Phyllis is talking about Kane and Victor. How they do not understand what is going on. Billy leaned in. Which one is that? Us. Phyllis' lips curved into a dangerous smile. She had spent her life being underestimated. People thought she was emotional and impulsive and unstable. Corporate warfare was something Phyllis knew a lot about. This was the thing she was good at. It was all about pressure and timing. Phyllis was really good at timing her moves, like betrayals, down to the second. Corporate warfare was her thing. Kane Ashby was going to find out how many people would stab him in the back all at the time. Kane Ashby was in for a surprise. A lot of knives were going to come out and stab Kane Ashby. Kane was by himself, in a hotel room. He was staring at his phone. He thought it might ring at any moment. Victor had sent him a lot of messages. Kane kept thinking about what Victor had said. Victor had made some threats. He had also given Kane some conditions to follow. Victor had promised that Lily would be let go. He had said that the twins would be okay. Victor had said that everything would be taken care of once Newman Enterprises belonged to him. Kane was still thinking about Newman Enterprises and what Victor had said about it. Kane did not trust Victor. He never had trusted Victor. But the thing was, Victor had all the power. And Kane had no option except to do what Victor wanted. Kane had to play along with Victor. Victor thought that was the case. He really thought this was true, about the situation. Victor had this idea in his mind. He was pretty sure it was right. Kane rubbed his face. He was very tired. He had not slept well in days. Every decision he made felt like a risk. The risk was to his family's future. He thought about Lily a lot. He remembered her strength and her anger and her disappointment in him. Kane also thought about the twins. He remembered the way they laughed. This made him feel like he could not bear the thought of anything happening to them. The thought of his family, the twins and Lily was always on his mind. He let out a breath. I just need to get through this, he said to himself. He thought that if he took things one step at a time it would be okay. One step at a time, that is what he needed to do. He told himself, one step at a time, with the situation. Kane did not know something. Victor did not know this thing either. The thing they did not know was that the ground under Kane and the ground under Victor was already changing. Back at Newman Enterprises, Nicky Newman got a feeling as soon as Victor walked in. Victor seemed calm and sure of himself. That is not like Victor. When Victor is that calm, it usually means something bad is going to happen to the people at Newman Enterprises. Nicky Newman thought that Victor being so calm was a sign of trouble for Newman Enterprises. Nicky said, "Is it done?" She asked this carefully. Victor poured himself a drink. He nodded. He said, "Kane has agreed to this. Kane will transfer the control to us. Lily and the children will be set free. The bad situation with Kane and Lily and the children will finally end today." Victoria frowned. "You really sound like you are absolutely certain about this." Victor said this with a lot of confidence. Then he did not sound so angry. He said that Kane really had to do what he did. Kane had no option. Kane was forced to do it. Nick exchanged a look with Victoria. Nick and Victoria had found out the way that when Victor is certain about something, it usually means something bad is going to happen to Victor and the people around him, like Nick and Victoria. Nick said to be careful. He did not want any surprises. Nick reminded that Kane does not play fair. Kane is not someone who does what is right. Nick warned about Kane because Kane is not a person. Victor's eyes got really tough. He said, "I am not either." Even as he said that, his phone started ringing on the desk. Victor did not pay attention to it at first, then he saw the caller identification. The muscles in his face got tight. He picked up the phone, said hello to the person calling from the number on the caller ID, which was on his phone that would not stop ringing. "Yes." Phyllis' voice sounded really sweet on the phone. It was a bit too much. "Victor the first, hope I am not bothering you when you are celebrating something." Victor stiffened. He said to Phyllis, "What do you want, Phyllis?" She said, "I just wanted to let you know what is going on. The thing with Kane's deal is that Kane's deal is really complicated." Victor's grip on the phone got really tight. He said, "Explain to me what is going on with the phone call. and he wanted the person on the end of the line to tell him everything about the situation with the phone. Victor wanted to know what the person was talking about when they called him on the phone. Phyllis said this in a calm way. "I do not want to talk about it over the phone," Phyllis said. "There are many people who might hear us. I will tell you this. The paperwork is not as okay as you think it is. If you do not do something about it really fast, the thing that might happen is that someone else might get to it first. Someone else might take it." The line went dead. Victor looked at the phone. He was really mad. He had never felt this way before. For the time Victor had some doubts. The phone just sat there. Victor was getting angrier by the minute thinking about what had happened with the phone. Victor was staring at the phone. He could not believe it. Across Genoa City, Sharon Newman was by herself in her living room. It was really quiet. This quiet was making her feel funny, like something was pushing on her chest. The house felt empty even though other people were there. Her thoughts were with Mariah, all the way, in Boston. Sharon replayed that phone call again and again. She could still hear Mariah's voice. It was shaky, it was hurt. Mariah was really reaching out to her. "Mom, I really need you now. I am feeling very upset. I need your help. My mom, you are the person I can talk to about this. I really need you to listen to me and help me figure some things out. My mom, please be there for me." Sharon really wanted to go. I mean, she really wanted to go. Her son Noah was lying in a hospital bed and he was not awake. There were machines around him making lots of noise. His life was not certain. What kind of mother would leave her child Noah in this state to go take care of another child? Guilt did not care about logic, it just did not. Guilt is a feeling that's very hard to explain. Guilt did not think about what makes sense or what does not. Guilt just existed. The feeling of guilt was there. It did not go away no matter what people said about logic and reason. Guilt was a thing and it affected people in many ways, and guilt was not something that people could easily get rid of because guilt was a part of being human and guilt was something that people had to deal with. Tears fell down Sharon's face as she touched her fingers to her lips. "I should have been there," she said quietly. "I should have seen it," Sharon said to herself, feeling sad. Sharon thought about what had happened. She wished she had been there to see it for herself. Now Mariah was really falling apart. She was dealing with a lot of problems inside her head and Sharon felt like she could not do anything to help. She felt like she had let Mariah down when Mariah needed her the most. At the hospital, Dominic Winters' condition was really getting to everyone who cared about Dominic Winters. Every time there was an update on Dominic Winters, it was like flipping a coin. You did not know if it would be good or bad. Sharon was holding on to the chance that she would get some news about Dominic Winters. She really needed something to make her feel better about what happened with Mariah. Billy was back in the war zone. He met Phyllis in a room. There were documents over the table. Billy's face changed when he read them. At first he was amused. Then he could not believe what he was seeing. The corporate war zone was full of surprises. Billy was reading the documents about the war zone. His expression changed from amusement to disbelief as he read more about the corporate war zone. Billy said this to himself, "This is really bad." He thought about what Kane had done. Kane did not just get things ready to move something from one place to another. Kane got things for Billy and the others to get out of there. Kane didn't just prepare a transfer, Billy said again. Kane prepared an escape for us. Phyllis nodded. She said these shell companies and delayed execution clauses are a deal. If Victor pushes hard on the shell companies, the whole thing with the shell companies will fall apart. And we step in, Billy said slowly. It was all starting to make sense to him. We step in, that is what we have to do, Billy. He was beginning to understand things. Phyllis said we do not block the deal. She explained that we redirect the deal instead. Billy laughed to himself. Victor Newman is really going to lose his mind when he finds out what is going on with Victor Newman. Good, Phyllis said. Her eyes are really blazing. Phyllis thinks he has taken enough from Phyllis and the other person. He has taken a lot from both of them, Phyllis and the other person. As Victor stormed out of Newman Enterprises, he was really mad. You could tell how angry he was. One thing was very clear. His plan was not working out like he thought it would. The problem was something Victor had not seen coming with his plan. At Newman Enterprises, Kane was in a tough spot. Victor had been. Now everyone knew what he did. Phyllis Summers was right where Phyllis Summers liked to be. In the middle of all the trouble, with the power to make things happen. And this was only the beginning. Victor Newman did not slam the door of his office. He closed the door of his office carefully. This was a warning to everyone who could hear him that the real trouble was only just starting. It would happen very quietly. Victor Newman was still thinking about the phone call with Phyllis Summers. The things she said were still echoing in his ears and they were really getting on his nerves. The situation was complicated. Things were not going as planned. Someone else was going to get involved. Victor Newman hated it when things were not clear. Phyllis Summers had made things very unclear, on purpose. This was really annoying Victor Newman. He walked across the room. Stopped at his desk putting his hands on the shiny surface. For a time men did not think he was very good. Women gave him a time. His enemies tried to trick him. Now he was, in this situation again, wondering if the victory he already had was going to fall apart. He thought about the victory he had already won. Now he was worried that it was all going to be ruined. The men who underestimated him, the women who challenged him, and the enemies who tried to outsmart him, they all did not know what he was capable of. Now he was the one who was questioning the victory he had already achieved. Kane Ashby, Victor said in a voice, his tone really mean and scary. You think you can fool Kane Ashby, Victor thought to himself. You think you can trick Kane Ashby. Across town, Kane sat in that hotel suite and he did not know that people were talking about him in a bad way. The room was really clean and neat. It did not look like anyone had been living there. His jacket was hanging over the back of a chair and his phone was on the table next to a glass of whiskey that was half gone. Kane had not planned to drink the whiskey. It just happened that he did. The knock at the door really startled him. He was not expecting the knock at the door to be so loud. The knock at the door made him jump. Kane stood up straight. Became really alert. Yes. Billy Abbott walked into the room. He looked really casual. His hands were in his pockets. He had a big smile on his face. Billy Abbott always seemed to have this smile. It was like it was stuck on his face. Billy said to me, relax. He told me that if Billy were there to hurt me, then Billy would not be acting so nice. Kane's jaw got really tight. He said, what is it that you want from me? Billy looked around the room. Was not very excited. He said, this is what almost owning Newman Enterprises gets you? I think Victor made it sound a lot better than it really is. Kane stepped forward. If you are here for Victor the first, want to know what you want from him, Kane said, looking at the person who was there, for Victor. Billy said, I am not going to do that. That is the point of what Billy is saying. Billy wants to make it clear that Billy does not agree with what's being said. Billy thinks that is the thing that Billy needs to get across to everyone. Kane looked at him closely and his tiredness made him wonder even more. So why did you come here? Billy shrugged. He said, let us just say that you are not the one that Victor thinks he is beating. A moment went by. Kane's heart started beating fast. Kane said, Phyllis, in a flat voice. Billy said, I told you that you are really smart. Kane exhaled slowly. He had thought about what Victor would do to stop him. He had thought about Victor using lawyers to slow things down, trying to scare him and even making threats. Phyllis Summers was something completely different. Kane asked what she wants. He was really wondering what she wants. Kane just wanted to know what she wants. Billy leaned against the table. He said, I want control and leverage and maybe a little revenge for those wounds that Billy has. Billy thinks that getting control and leverage will be good for Billy. Billy also wants revenge for those wounds that Billy has. You? Kane asked, wanting to know what the other person was thinking. Billy's smile went away. Something colder took its place. He said, I want Victor Newman to be taken down a notch. It would be great if it happened in public so everyone can see it. I really want Victor Newman to be knocked down a pegs, and I want it to happen in a way that everyone knows about Victor Newman. Kane laughed. It was not a happy laugh. You are late, he said. That was supposed to be my job. Billy said that it is still possible. If you do not mind getting stabbed 2 times while it is happening. Kane's eyes got really small. He said, what do you mean by that? Victor is ready to take Newman, Billy explained. Phyllis found a way to stop the transfer for a little while, which gives us time to change our plan for Newman at the end. Kane turned away, rubbed his temple. The situation was really bad. Every single move Kane made seemed to make things worse for Kane. It was like Kane was getting caught in a trap. It was getting tighter and tighter around Kane. Kane asked